I look so weird at this angle. Ugh. Today's video, I think, will be hopefully very useful for lots of people. I talk on this channel about anxiety and panic disorder and agoraphobia and all of the things that come with different anxiety disorders, but I know that dental anxiety is much more common than anxiety or anxiety disorders. Going to the dentist is something that's really difficult for loads and loads of people, not just people with anxiety. But when you have an anxiety disorder on top of that, it makes going to the dentist so unbelievably hard, and maybe it actually makes you avoid going altogether. Quick story time. At the beginning of lockdown, literally pretty much day one of lockdown, when they were like, you cannot leave your house, blah blah blah, was the day that I got my first ever tooth pain. And oh my god, tooth pain is unbearable. It is horrible. It makes you feel physically unwell. Like, it was one of my teeth up here and it was like going right up my jaw, into my head, down my neck. It was so painful. And they were like, I phoned loads of different people and they were like, all dentists are closed. Like, we literally can't do anything about it. So I was in a lot of pain for a long time. They gave me different antibiotics and all that kind of stuff. But then really interestingly, which is a bit of a sidetrack to the story, my body suddenly was like, I suddenly stopped getting tooth pain after maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because my body knew, I think it's because my body knew I couldn't go to the dentist. So it kind of like, or also could be the amount of painkillers I was taking. Anyway, I think something miraculous happened and the tooth pain only came back maybe a week or two ago, and oh my god, it was the worst pain I've ever been in my whole life. No amount of painkillers could help at all. I was up all night, didn't sleep at all, and I had to phone like 111 in the middle of the night and be like, please help me, I am in so much pain. And so, moral of the story, ended up going to the dentist. And I was very, very nervous and I was very scared before it. I think for a number of different reasons. I think my reasons are probably quite different to other people's reasons, because I feel like I'd be just as anxious going to the dentist as I would be going for a massage or getting my nails done or something like that. I just don't like being in a situation where the other person doesn't know about my anxiety and doesn't know, or maybe I don't know how they'd react to my anxiety. I think that's something I really struggle with. But I went to my appointment and they were like, actually we can't do anything about it today, we're gonna have to book you in on Monday. And the people I went to on Monday to actually get my dentist stuff done were really, really nice. So I thought I would talk you through some of the things that I did that really helped me stay calm, really helped me get through the procedure. I got root canal, and I know that's something when people hear root canal they're like, oh my god, I do not want to do that, that sounds horrific. And that's what I was like, there's no way, I've heard root canal is so agony, I don't want to do it, blah 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 blah. But I knew I was in so much pain, I was like, I don't actually care where you take me or what you do, just please make this pain go away. So yeah, I thought I'd talk through some of the things that got me through it, in the hopes that it will help you if you are somebody that needs to go to the dentist soon, or you've been putting off going to the dentist, which is definitely something I did for about 2 years until this massive pain. The first thing I would say is know that you are in control of the situation. Dentists cannot do anything without your permission. So when I went, they said, we can take your tooth out, or we can give you root canal because your tooth is actually fine, it's just got the crack in it. And I was kind of like, just please take it out. And they were like, honestly, your tooth is fine. It would be, but you can save your tooth, blah, blah, blah. So I decided to get root canal. But the whole time, I knew within myself, it's kind of about getting to yourself by yourself, if that makes sense. So when you're in the chair, when you're in the waiting room, when they're actually doing stuff to your tooth, you are completely in control and at any time can say stop. My dentist was very nice and said that at any point I could raise my hand and he would stop. But remember, in any situation in life, absolutely any situation, you can get up and leave. We might worry that it looks rude, it looks weird, we look like a weirdo, why can't we just get through these things, blah blah blah. We can put loads of harshness on ourselves, or we can say, actually, I am in control of the situation and I know my boundaries and my needs better than anybody else. And so for me, going in there knowing that I could stand up and say this is too much at any time made me feel so much less anxious, because I knew at any time I could leave. That takes maybe some practice, especially if you're somebody with social anxiety. You can feel like, oh, but then everyone will hate me, everyone will think this, that, and the next thing. The good thing about dentists is they don't know who you are. Most of the time, I'm guessing your dentist doesn't know you. You're not friends with them outside of going to the dentist, so it doesn't really matter what they think, and you are the most important person in that situation. The next thing is the thought of these things. I am telling you, the thought of anything is always, pretty much, worse than the actual thing. So for me, the most nerve-wracking part is making the appointment and sitting in the waiting room. There is nothing worse than sitting in a waiting room waiting for somebody to do something to your tooth. It's horrible. Nobody likes that part. It's the same with when you're at the doctor's, even at the hairdressers or something, sitting in the waiting room. It's always horrible. The fact it's called the waiting room, the room where you wait for something to happen, and that is when all these anxious thoughts come into your mind and say, oh, what if it's really painful? What if they mess it up and I'll have to come back? What if I can't handle the pain and it's really embarrassing? What if I have a panic attack? What if... all these what if situations, that is when it's going to come into your head. Actually getting the procedure done, I think because you're in the situation, it's not actually as bad, but the waiting and the time before is so difficult. And so I think just having the knowledge that the thought of this is going to be worse, and actually the thoughts that come into your head, our brain does a really good job of making them convincing and making them seem like they are definitely going to happen, but they're not. I think like 70% of our thoughts that we have in our brain aren't true at all. Think of all the ridiculous, weird thoughts and worst case scenarios your brain has come up with before. A lot of them probably haven't happened, and for me, certainly, my thought was all of those thoughts I just mentioned and none of those happened. It actually went really, really well. So just know while you're sitting in that waiting room, even if you're sitting in the waiting room now, the thought is definitely going to be worse than the actual procedure. The other thing that really helped me was knowing the appointment was only for half an hour. So my appointment was at, 10, and it finished at 10:30 or something like that. So I knew from 10 till 10:30, no matter what happened in that half an hour, even if it was really awful, it would be half an hour of my life. I've had 24 years of living, so I've had many half an hour periods in my lifetime, and this is only going to be one tiny half hour. And so no matter what happened to me, it was only going to be for half an hour, because they will have a next person coming in at the next appointment time. So just having that knowledge that it will only be for a certain amount of time, and it's very, very, very short amount of time when you think about it, really, really helped me. And you can have, another thing is you could have music on while you're in there. You could actually have this video on if it would be helpful for you, or any other kind of calming thing. Classical music if that helps you, or rock music if that helps you. On the way there I listened to a mixture of Lizzo and Freddie Mercury, really classic duo, I do recommend. Meditations are really helpful, or something that's nothing to do with kind of calming and anxiety. It could be a podcast you're really into. I'm currently listening to Michelle Obama's book Becoming, something like that that's completely nothing, it's just Michelle Obama speaking to you. That's always going to calm you down. You are allowed to ask for things, and it's never going to sound weird to a dentist. They will have heard it all. They will have seen the very most anxious patients before. They will have been in many, many different situations and seen teeth that are worse than yours and done procedures that were more difficult than yours, and they're trained people, they know what they're doing, and so they will be probably even happier if you decide to listen to music or have something in your ears to distract you. Something else you could do is also record your own voice. So I know this helps for some other people, I've never actually tried it myself, but I know a lot of people, when they do something scary, they maybe record their own voice before it with some nice affirmations, or you can get somebody else that calms you down to maybe make a recording, maybe your partner, I don't know. Or after your procedure, when it's gone well, record your voice after the procedure, after you've done something nerve-wracking. That can be really, really helpful. The other thing that's really good is to tell them you're nervous. I will have a disclaimer here, not everybody understands mental health problems, and so the first dentist I went to see, they were like, what is agoraphobia? That sounds made up, blah de blah de blah. So not everybody is going to understand mental health problems. That's a different video, I'm angry about that. But most of the time, dentists have seen people with anxiety, and dentists are a prime place for people to get anxious. And so the second dentist I went to, I told him I was nervous, and he was amazing. he kept saying, you know, you're doing a really good job, well done, this is amazing, like you're doing really, really well. His assistant was like, I'm going to be here the whole time, you can hold my hand if you need to hold my hand, anything. They were amazing, and that was during a pandemic, and they were probably nervous too to have somebody in. And so yeah, I think it's always best to tell them you're nervous. The worst thing they can do is to not understand. That's fine, you've tried, but it could actually really be beneficial. I thought it might be helpful as well for me to quickly describe what happens during root canal. I'm not going to make this really scary. I'm going to literally tell you that root canal, if you're somebody that's needing to go for that, is pretty much just a filling. So what they'll do is they'll numb your mouth, and I was terrified that that was going to be really painful, but they basically just put a jag right here, and honestly I didn't even feel the jag going in. Honestly, I didn't feel it going in. I thought that was going to be the worst part, but I was like, have you done it yet? Like, I honestly didn't feel it. And then your mouth is completely numb, and so something else that really helped me was closing my eyes. So no matter what happened, I didn't really see what they were doing at all. I felt it, but it wasn't painful at all. I just felt like somebody would if they were putting their finger in your mouth and like feeling around. That's all I felt the whole time. And because I had my eyes closed, I didn't see any of the tools they were using or anything like that. The only thing I felt was they have this water thing that keeps clearing it out, and so that sounded quite loud, but that was the only thing that was slightly unnerving. The rest of it, honestly, no pain whatsoever. It was pretty much the exact same as a filling, so they basically get out all the stuff that's like decayed or whatever it is. They get all that stuff out, they make it the hole slightly bigger so that they can fill it, and they just fill it up with whatever they use to fill it up, and that is literally the whole procedure. I thought root canal was like, I don't know, you hear about root canal being like, oh my god, root canal, but it honestly was just a filling, more or less. So that is all that is. And getting a tooth out, I've also had a tooth out, and that was my wisdom tooth, which again, so painful, so I had to go to the dentist. And the jag that they give you is slightly more painful. It's on the roof of your mouth, so that is a bit more painful, but after they've given you that jag, which literally takes probably 30 seconds, if that, you feel absolutely nothing again because your mouth is totally numb, and you look quite funny when you come out because half of your mouth is like a different shape. So yeah, honestly, that is all of the kind of procedures that I have had, getting a tooth out, a filling and root canal. Honestly, none of them were really that painful. And the last thing I thought I would mention here is medication. If you're somebody that really cannot deal with the fact that a dentist is going to be in your mouth, and I totally understand, it's somebody going up in your face, and especially right now it's quite unnerving, it's quite weird. There are different medications that can help you. I actually took a diazepam, which is Valium beforehand, which is a little Valium, it's only 2 milligrams, so it didn't really do much, but I think it definitely did take some kind of nerve off me. If you're somebody that doesn't really like taking those kind of drugs, things like CBD can help. And also if you think you might need something a bit stronger, they can also sedate you, and I've known people that have had that, and basically they give you, I don't know if it's in the form of like breathing in oxygen, breathing in something, or if it's a pill, but they can give you something that will really calm you down, so you're you don't really remember like getting anything done. I know people that have had that and they said it was pretty much fine. They're all totally okay to take. Like I said, I took Valium beforehand. I think that's probably what they'd give to people with dental anxiety at the doctors or whatever. And yeah, didn't have any side effects either because I do sometimes take Valium for panic attacks. So yes, they're all my tips, all the things that I thought might be useful for somebody. I know that dentists are really scary places. They are not somewhere you want to be, but they're places, it's kind of like the self-care that's really awful and boring and shit, but self-care that's probably one of the most important things you could do for yourself. And afterwards, honestly, I felt amazing. I could drink drinks without feeling pain. I had ice cream that day and there was no pain, and it was just so worth it. I'm wishing you so much good luck if you're going to the dentist soon, and giving you some strength and courage, and I know that you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it, and hopefully this video has helped you. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!